Tuesday, May the 24th, 2022. Our usual is to start with an invocation, and would ask that Alderman Barnhill offer that tonight. And also I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to call the roll before we start that, if I could. Alderman Barnhill. Present. Vice Mayor Blanton. Present. Alderman Hanson.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Alderman Brown.
Present.
Alderman Potts.
Present.
And Alderman Baggett.
Present.
And the mayor's here also, so we have full attendance. So please, Alderman Barnhill.
Stand, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, thanking you for this great nation that we live in, and for all the many freedoms that we have. As we look around, we see other countries in turmoil. We see war in other countries. We pray for a peaceful solution to these conflicts, and we know that people in Ukraine are tremendously suffering. We ask that you be with those people. We also ask that you be with each of us tonight. The decisions that we make, give us the spiritual wisdom and guidance to make those. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item on the agenda is an opportunity for citizens to make comments for items that are not on the agenda. I have no speaker cards. We'll move on to communications for the Williamson County Commission, and I do not have any communications from them. We'll now go to the minutes of April the 26th Board of Mayor and Alderman work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. And can we do them? Well, we need to do each one separately. So I would look for a motion to approve the minutes from April 26th work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting.
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill, and seconded by Alderman Brown. Okay, you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett. Passes unanimously. We'll now consider the minutes from May the 10th work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. I'd look for a motion.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Second by Alderman Hanson. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go on to a proclamation, and this is Silver Alert Awareness Month. And Cheryl, come on up with it. Where's your purple? You've got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay. Well, whereas 120,000 Tennesseans have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease and related dementias that may cause loss of memory and other cognitive functions, and whereas the senior population is steadily growing and aging of the baby boomer generation will likely increase the number of Tennesseans with Alzheimer's by 17% over the next 5 years. And whereas 6 out of 10 individuals with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease will wander at some time during the course of the disease, and whereas half of seniors and others with dementia who wander away from home on foot or in a car sustain injuries if they are not found within 24 hours, and whereas the majority of Tennessee families do not have a plan in place in case their loved one wanders away from home, and whereas in 2021, Alzheimer's Tennessee advocates appealed to the Tennessee General Assembly for the passage of an amendment to update the Silver Alert Law, which created greater collaboration between local law enforcement and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and incorporating greater cooperation with the media, whereas the new Silver Alert Law has resulted in more Tennesseans being returned safely to their families after wandering. So now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 as Silver Alert Awareness Month. So, Cheryl,
Thank you so much. Mayor.
introduce
We appreciate
yourself
you.
and
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you guys for allowing me to come. I'm Cheryl Blanchard. I'm the Regional Director for Middle Tennessee for Alzheimer's Tennessee. We are a statewide organization, so we're your local Alzheimer's organization. This was very important to us because 6 out of 10 people with dementia will wonder. This is life-saving legislation. Since it was passed last July, over 80 have been issued, and I think it was somewhere around 70 that were returned safely home. That's pretty amazing. So this legislation allows TBI and local law enforcement to work together to bring folks home, and I wanted to let all of you know we have this kit available for families. This has everything that the TBI and local law enforcement need from the family if their loved one goes missing. So we have these available for free to families. If you know of anyone that needs one or law enforcement knows anyone that needs one, just contact me at our local office. It's 615-580-4244, and we'd love to get this into the family's hands. And thank you so much for the proclamation, sir.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay, any miscellaneous reports? I do have one, and that is Monday will be Memorial Day. This is an important day in our community, particularly a community such as ours that's very patriotic, and at 10 o'clock at 5 Points, the ceremonies will start, and we look forward to that event. Any other special reports? Seeing none, we'll go to the consent agenda, and all items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. Tonight, we're considering items 18 through 20. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Potts.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go, I'm going to walk back up to the dais, and we're going to start a public hearing, which is acknowledgement of the progress report on Resolution 2020-291, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 5 properties southeast of the intersection of Clovercroft Road and Oxford Glen Drive, addressed at 4316 Murfreesboro Road, 4324 Murfreesboro Road, 4099 Clovercroft Road, and 4101 Clovercroft Road by the City of Franklin, Tennessee. I will alert you that items 5 through 10 do not require a vote. All we're doing is getting a progress report on the plan of service and annexation. Correct?
Yes.
All right, good evening. This public hearing addresses the plan of services for 5 properties extending from Murfreesboro Road to Clovercroft Road. These properties were annexed on November 23rd, 2021. Currently, the Poplar Farms PUD subdivision is approved for these properties. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2020-291. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
Does anyone want to speak to this body? If not, I declare the public hearing closed. Item number 6 is acknowledgment of progress report on Resolution 2021-110, a resolution adopting a plan of services for annexation of 4416 Paytonsville Road by the City of Franklin.
This public hearing addresses the plan of service for 1 property located at 4416 Paytonsville Road. This property was annexed on November 9th, 2021. Currently, the property is zoned Civic Institutional Zoning District. This property is owned by the city and currently sits vacant. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as a government entity as outlined in Resolution 2021-110. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
Does there anyone want to speak to this item? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. We'll go to item 7, which is public hearing. This is a public hearing acknowledgement of progress report on Resolution 2021-116, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 841 Old Charlotte Pike by the City of Franklin.
This public hearing addresses the plan of services for 1 property located at 841 Old Charlotte Pike. This property was annexed on November 9th, 2021. Currently, the Hamilton PUD subdivision is approved for this property. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2021-116. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
Is there anyone who wants to speak to this item? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed, and we'll move on to item number 8. This is a public hearing, acknowledgment of progress report on Resolution 2021-117, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 4325 Long Lane to the City of Franklin.
This public hearing addresses the plan of services for one property located at 4325 Long Lane. This property was annexed on September 28, 2021. Currently, the property is zoned estate residential, and there are no active development applications on file with the city. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2021-117. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
Is there anyone who wants to speak to this item? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Item number 9, which is acknowledgment of the progress report on Resolution 2021-119, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of 4432 Pratt Lane outside of the southeastern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary by the City of Franklin.
This public hearing addresses the plan of services for one property located at 4432 Pratt Lane. This property was annexed by referendum, which became effective on December 9th, 2021, 30 days after the certification of the election results. Currently, the property is zoned estate residential and has no active development applications with the city. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2021-119. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
And does anyone want to speak to this item? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. We'll go to item number 10, which is acknowledgment of progress report on Resolution 2021-130, a resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of property north of Henpeck Lane and west of Lewisburg Pike to the City of Franklin.
This public hearing addresses the plan of service for one property located at 1260 Lewisburg Avenue. This property was annexed on November 9th, 2021. Currently, the property is zoned neighborhood commercial, and there are no active development applications on file with the city. At this time, the city has fulfilled any and all of its obligations as outlined in Resolution 2021-130. There will be no other reports given for this plan of service.
Is there anyone who wants to speak on this item? Seeing none, I declare this public hearing closed, and we'll move on to item number 11, which is consideration
Mr.
resolution.
Mayor, may I have a question on one of these? Back to number 5, we read all these, we're just acknowledging them. But it said in there, it says, "It should be noted that many times the plan of service is written to require the extension of public infrastructure as development occurs, and not necessarily immediately after annexation becomes effective." Does that mean at some later date, they may be required to extend an infrastructure, like a road or anything?
What it's meant to mean is that as a development plan moves through the process and services are required to be extended for that development, that is when the services are extended, not necessarily immediately after the annexation. And it's often written that it's the developer's responsibility to extend those services, not the city. So this plan of service, along with all the others, denotes that the city's obligation for extending services has been met. There's nothing in there that the city needs to do any further.
And in this plan of services, is there anything in there requiring them to do any further extension of infrastructure that we don't know about?
The
Or
plan
could
of-
there be?
The plan of services does not outline the extension of services. It ties that to the
To
development.
the development. So that would come later if, okay.
If and when a development plan gets approved and then
Understood.
following the site plans and
I just wanted-
infrastructure plans.
After I read that one sentence, I just wanted to clarify that because that's what I thought it would be at the development stage. Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 11 is consideration resolution 2022-31, a resolution to declare that the Hill LLC is selected to be the new owner of the city-owned property known as the Hill property located at 403 and 405 Fifth Avenue North, and is selected to implement the declared public purpose of developing affordable and workforce housing on that property, and authorizing the city administrator or appropriate designee to prepare a development agreement for the property to be considered by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Appropriate motion by Alderman Vice Mayor Blanton. Is there a second? Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Go ahead, Alderman Peters.
I was just going to say that I haven't gotten it back up because I was redoing my computer. But I remember it talks about the cost of the land, and there is some part of that that really needs to be looked at, because isn't part of this, this is owned by the the water sewer utility district and everything. And so that is a separate fund, an entity, and so it's not the same thing as city owning it.
It lays it out in the text.
It does.
That is one of the
But that's
specific
what I'm saying,
conditions
though.
that is identified in the resolution, that
And-
the reimbursement of the water and
479.
sewer utility would be included.
Well, but I'm just saying,
Are you finished, Alderman Peterson?
no, I was just saying that that is something that is a concern.
Yes, yes, and it's like outlined in there.
I just had the question, so we'll transfer ownership, but relative to the deed, relative to ensuring that we enact this thing, we'll still have that governance even though we pass ownership of the property over, right?
Part of the development agreement's going to incorporate the deed restrictions and the elements that keep it workforce and affordable as it ultimately gets defined. We have an initial proposal that might be tweaked a little bit, but you'll have the ability to approve that. The other thing I would just note, this resolution provides some pretty specific timelines for us to keep this moving. 3 months to a letter of intent, and 6 months from now to enter the development process, and 12 months from now to have approval. Now, you can always extend those, but I think it's healthy to have some things that keep us moving, and so that is incorporated here as well.
Alderman Baggett.
Love this project. I think anytime we start giving land, city-owned land, or even portions of city-owned land, there, regardless of the importance and value of the project and the heart behind it, we got to make sure that we're doing, fiduciarily what we need to be doing for the taxpayers and for the water utility. So the appraisal was done in 2020, that this was all based off of. I just pointing that out. We've seen a lot of change in the market, but then the other questions I had were, there was some other, I'd seen somewhere else where the county is going to be giving some money, COVID money, to this project, and then from, I believe, was in one of the documents that we saw.
Yeah, they have, one of the things we identified was jointly, city and county looking at some opportunities to extend or upgrade water and sewer infrastructure. And the county specifically requested to target their dollars towards the Hill project, and the city would pick up, I think, 3 or 4 other, maybe smaller projects that are Franklin Housing Authority's working on that are also affordable. So that would help with that element of those costs, project costs.
Other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 12 is Resolution 2022-25, resolution to adopt the Historic District Design Guidelines update. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Potts, thank you. Any discussion?
I had a couple questions.
Go ahead, Alderman Berger.
I've just heard that some of the property owners in the downtown area have some concerns. Have they been meeting with us on those concerns? Some of the requirements, I think, may be a little bit more restrictive and difficult with the affordability of these places. And I really don't know what they're referring to, because I'd asked for some people to get back to me on that. I don't know, Patrick, if you've heard anything. And also, do any of these guidelines affect any interior spaces as well? Thanks,
Hi,
Amanda.
Alderman Berger. Thanks for your questions. I have not received any contact from the folks that you've mentioned about the concerns with affordability specific to the guidelines. The guidelines that we bring forth today are really not very different in substance than the ones that we had previously. They've been reorganized quite a bit. a little bit more clarity here and there, and sections divided so that it's more user-friendly. But I have not heard any
Okay.
complaints specific to that,
And-
unfortunately.
And do any of these affect interiors?
No, the
not
only,
at
the
this
only
point.
note about interior would be that if you're making alterations on the interior, that would affect the exterior. For example, if you're taking down, demising walls to the point that it could compromise the stability of the whole building and compromise that.
Or the windows or something.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's just for exterior arrangements by state law.
That, I looked through it, I could not find anything, so I just thought, I'm going to ask, because you can
Absolutely.
tell me if I'm missing something.
Right, just for
Okay.
exterior.
All right. All right, Patrick, have you heard anything?
There's always people who, and building owners and residents who, they move into our historic downtown and then realize, yeah, we do have standards, and certainly some of those can be expensive. But I haven't heard anything specific other, outside of what, you would normally hear. And then two, I think the public should know that it's not majorly changing or adding additional, really outside the spirit of what's there now. It's just,
Exactly.
like you said, rearranging, making it probably easier to do the right thing per the standards on the front end without spending a lot of money, and then coming before the commission and then being sent back to spend more money with architects or engineers. So I think actually there could be, it'll be helpful, hopefully, for applicants for that clarity. And that's where I think when I hear things, it's, well, I spent all this money on architecture and then come and then it gets disapproved or sent back, and then they got to spend more money on it. And so I think this, eliminating some of that back and forth will save, I think,
Okay.
applicants in the future.
I agree.
That's the goal.
We did spend a lot of time on the formatter to explain the process and provide a little bit more predictability and encourage
Yep.
folks to contact staff before they invest time and
Yeah.
energy into
Exactly.
design professionals.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 13, consideration ordinance 2022-11, an ordinance to amend the budget of the city of Franklin for FY 2021 to 2022, establishing a public hearing for June the 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Hanson. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 14, which is consideration ordinance 2022-12, an ordinance of the city of Franklin, Tennessee, adopting a budget for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, providing an effective date, establish a public hearing for June the 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Potts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 15, consideration ordinance 2022-13, an ordinance of the city of Franklin, Tennessee, establishing the municipal property tax levy for fiscal year 2022 to 23, providing an effective date, establish a public hearing for June the 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Baggett. Any discussion? Good news is there is no increase. So, ready to vote? We'll go backwards again. Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor
No.
Blanton.
Yes.
And Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Did I get everybody?
Yes.
You almost didn't get voted.
I was thinking of changing my vote.
I detected that, and I just wanted to move right on.
Yeah. I'll catch you next time.
Okay, how about item number 16, consideration ordinance 2022-14, an ordinance of the City of Franklin, Tennessee, to amend the Appendix A, Comprehensive Fees and Penalties, Chapter 17, Refuse and Trash Disposal of Franklin Municipal Code to increase the fees for collecting of garbage and refuse. Established a public hearing for June the 14th, 2022.
I'm not getting this.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Hanson. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Barnhill, thank you. Open for discussion.
All right, I'll ask a question before I vote no. I know it's only $1.50 a month increase. How desperate are we to do this?
Well, when we looked at cost of service, probably 3 years ago, that number came out in around the mid-20s, around $24, $25. One of the
That's costing us that?
Yeah, true cost, when you look at equipment and all of that. Now, a number of years, we've been able to have the fund be self-sufficient, but that, quite frankly, it relies on our equipment replacement cycle. And I've looked at, and one of the charges for our team this year is to provide you with a 5-year rate plan that really gets at self-sufficiency, so that we know what that looks like. But you receive an extensive level of service for that. I think you would find private haulers that serve other communities
Yeah.
in our area charging at least $10, $15 more than what we're charging for a smaller group of services. So, we have a fund that we try to make as self-sufficient as we can. We shared with you before, but in 2008, there was about $4.4 million of general fund money going into this fund.
Yeah.
And so part of the way we don't put the burden on all taxpayers is by keeping regular rate adjustments in place and looking at that true cost of service.
Okay, thanks.
Ready to vote? Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Blanton, excuse me, and Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next is item number 17, consideration resolution 2022-35, a resolution to amend the Franklin Police Department Wrecker Service Policy and Agreement.
Move for approval?
Thank you, Alderman Berger. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Potts. Thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Hanson.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Is there any other business needs to come before the board? If not, I would consider a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Berger. It's a second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.